y'all know I love a true multi-hyphenated artist. This person here is a dual threat, both behind the camera and in front of the mic. He tells stories with the lens and with the lyric. And if you're a balladeer in the city of Philadelphia, this person is the final boss. Help me in welcoming the one, the only, Lucas Wolfe.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today?
So you just heard me yell a lot of adjectives, a lot of describing words, but I'm interested. How do you describe yourself?
Two things. I've always considered myself above everything. I considered myself a writer first.
Okay, you're a writer first.
I think that I've always, throughout everything, whether it's film, whether it's music, whether it's, poetry, whatever, I've always been a writer first. I think, secondly, it would be a producer.
Okay.
Those are those things that exist, right? Because the art of production is the ability to take something from start to finish. And so whether it's music, film, whatever it is, like we're just taking things from start to finish.
Okay,
so,
all right.
Like writer and producer, I think singer, filmmaker, all that other stuff is like great. And I love the names, but writer and producer are like really what got me where I'm at.
Yeah. So writer, that's the songwriting, that's the storytelling, that's the ability to create an image, an idea, and then producers, how do I start this? How do I execute? And how do I bring it to a close?
Exactly.
All right. Outside of your art, who is Lucas?
Man, I love film.
Okay.
I love film, and not just from an aspect of like, I love making film. I love watching film.
Okay.
Like I went through this thing where I decided like, I'm gonna just watch 100 movies last year. And that was one of the most magical experiences in the world. It was a little difficult.
That's like every 3 days?
Like you had like I was.
You got time like that?
Not really. A lot of drives on the way, like just watching stuff in the car. Like
okay, don't drive behind or in front of Lucas Wolfe. That's what I'm learning at this moment.
I got tents. You won't be able to know it's me, but I love film, and I love my friends.
Okay.
I think that I'm at a place now where like all of my friends left are my best friends because we done weeded out everybody that needs to go.
Okay.
And
so the circle's tight? The
circle is very, very tight.
Cool.
And so I think I love friends, I love fun, and I love just enjoying myself. Like I think we work hard and we take the time to enjoy ourselves afterward.
Okay. So in that, what I hear a person who is an artist, is also a consumer of art, which I think is underrated as artists. Like, I think we want to produce so much, but a part of producing is we have to fill the tank, even if you're driving. And then I also hear somebody who has a strong community behind them to the point that it's like, I'm very intentional about the people who are around us. I want to go back to the films. You said you are a filmmaker, you love film. What was the first film of last year? What was the last film of last year? And then what did you learn in that process?
The first film, I think I'll have to pull out my letterbox to let you know.
All right.
But I want to say maybe Black Swan or Indiana Jones, the first one.
All right.
The first Indiana Jones. I want to go first Indiana Jones. I think that was the first one that I watched. And I think somewhere towards the end of the year, we got to, it's so many movies. Maybe Pride and Prejudice.
Okay, so you covered the game.
Oh, I was everywhere. Yeah. I was in action. I was in anime. I was in. Honestly, I watch everything but horror.
That's fair.
I'm not like I'm Jamaican. Yeah. I don't know, and we just don't play with the spirits.
We don't play with the spirits.
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't deal with none of the spirits at all.
I'm not Jamaican and I don't play with the spirits.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like I've watched everything, and just to diversify your portfolio, I think the biggest thing that I've learned, I think you have these film buffs, and I think in watching like these movies that were from 1990 or 1980 to 2021, like the art of storytelling is the same. It's just the vehicles and the machines that have advanced. And I think that you can learn as much from a movie that dropped this year as you will from a movie that dropped 30 and 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Like whether it's Alfred Hitchcock or Sinners that just dropped, there are things that you can learn from in those movies. So I think that that's the biggest thing that I learned, or what was repetitive all the way around. Is like, good storytelling will be good storytelling. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So it's this, the character development, the storytelling, the way they pull on our emotional strings to make us care about characters is prevalent from Indiana Jones through Pride and Prejudice through last week's Sinners. How does that affect your approach to music?
It's all in the writing.
Yeah.
That's what I think as far as screenwriting, filmmaking, music. It's all in the writing. I think what a good writer is able to do, or what I try to do, is take something that's for myself, and then how can I take these words or this story and broaden it, and broaden the perspective so it can apply to you and me. And that's whether I'm using she, whatever topic or whatever we're using, right? Whether it's a he, a she, or a they, like, doesn't matter. Like, stories are universal.
Yeah.
And so learning the ability to take the writing and take something so personal and make it so broader is the sort of bigger thing that I've really tried to do with my writing.
Yeah. The ability to tell a story, to make people feel with you, to connect with audiences, take that personal experience and make it universal. Which is why we love film, because I could be watching Indiana Jones, I could be watching Black Panther, I could be watching Black Swan, and I find myself caught up in those moments.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, oh man, if I was this character, I find myself kind of walking through the moment with them. And it's funny, your music shows that. Your music is very, it tells stories.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, this is what I want to do. Before we get too deep into your music, we're going to get there. I want to go back. So I want you to think the beginning, little Lucas. What is your earliest memory of you as a creative?
I think we started in a church. A church praise and worship team. I was probably around 10 or 12, in between that age gap. And one of my mentors, his name is Nigel, grabbed me and was just like, "Yo, you're gonna sing."
Okay.
And so maybe he heard something that I don't even remember. All I remember is him just being like, "Yo, you're gonna sing." And
Roughly, how old were you?
Had to be no more than 12.
Okay.
No more than 12. Like, probably closer to 10.
Okay.
And he just was like, "Yo, you're gonna sing like this." And then from then on, we were just singing in the church. And then went to school. High school was when it kind of really, freshman year of high school was when it really started to bloom. There was a good guy, really, really popular in Philly. His name is Mr. Man Frisbee. He does a jam session every month or so, often at the winery.
Okay.
And he was like, I had this like band called Anonymous. Like, I don't know where we came up with that name looking back, but
you didn't want nobody to know who y'all were. Don't book us.
Don't book us. Don't call us. Don't do that. You know. So
Anonymous.
In this band called Anonymous, and we played this like library late night show, and he was there. He was like, "Yo, why don't you just come to the studio?" And I think that there's something magical about hearing yourself in your ears for the first time.
Yeah.
That I think after that, I heard that first tape. I've tried to find it, but I think it's so deep in my email that I would have to literally spend hours.
You have that many emails saved?
Not like literally.
Okay.
Like, my Gmail is literally like, "Yo, you have 97%. Like, you have 3% left before you're no longer able to accept emails ever again."
So you consistently just on the edge. You on anxiety. That's what that is.
They're literally like, "Bro, like, are you gonna extend this or not?"
Yeah. Okay.
So
it started off with Nigel in the church, and you are going to sing, and that's around 10 years old. What was that moment like for you? Like, how did it feel for somebody to see that talent in you?
I think it was just magical. And I think it was magical because you grow up in a Jamaican church it was pretty big, like 60 to 100 people, give or take. Yeah. And like, he was just evidently like the coolest guy to all of us, you know? So for him to be like, "Yo, like, come sing," it was like, oh, he sees something in me, and he was somebody that I really, really looked up to. And he was somebody that I grew up under, really like admiring. And so to have him, choose me or like see something in me was, I think, beautiful. Yeah. And I think that carries on in the way that I'm able to, especially when it comes to like filmmaking or collaboration, being like, yo, like,
Yeah.
I think that you have something that we can do here.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
Yeah, it's something about that early spark, that first person to believe in us,
Yeah.
that really changes the trajectory for us. So you go from singing in church. I think the church produces the best musicians and the best singers, because old church ladies will say you ain't got the spirit if you ain't singing right.
Yeah, exactly.
They ain't gonna boo you. They just not. They gonna be quiet. But also, I think there's so much emotion in gospel music. There's so much like tapping into what it is to feel a higher power, what it is to feel God. What did the church teach you about music?
It's about a feel, and like literally a feel is what I mean by that. It's so many times we get caught up with, and I think that's kind of where I've made my lane, because I realized that there are people that literally have the time to study vocals every day. You know, there are people that have, you know, all of the time, the space, and the opportunity to really become an extremely strong singer, like top of the line. And I think there are understanding that there are people that can sing vocally better than me.
Yeah.
But my job is to make you feel something. And if I can make you feel something better than they can sing, or on par with how good they can sing, then that's what'll carry you. A lot of times it wasn't the best musicians at church that like brought about like the highest thing. Of course, if the fire musicians on tour, so they'll be there for a couple weeks and then they're gone. And then being able to get with people that you're around the same level with, and the spirit of humility just takes place, and vibing off each other and creating that space of energy and feel, that carries on all throughout like life and like all of my music. Like what is the thing that you're feeling when you listen to a Lucas Wolfe song? Like does it, if it's meant to feeling that vibe, like does the purpose of the song reach? You know, so that's kind of like
the people. We want to thank our sponsor, Randolph Walters and Associates. If you're looking for competent mental health treatment, individual counseling, family counseling, couples counseling, head over to randolphwalters.com and tap in with some amazing licensed therapists. We're here to serve you. So the feel is about literally the energy that's created.
Yes.
What it's like to collaborate with other artists, what it's like to meet people where they are, what it's like to create an emotion for other people. When did you realize that you had that?
Honestly, Quiet Girl.
Okay.
Quiet Girl was Quiet Girl was the first time, because I had been making music, I think, for a little while, maybe even before that. So maybe not before. No, I'm gonna stick with my answer.
Okay,
because I think before we got to Lucas Wolfe, we were in like a band called Relive. There was Anonymous, all of that other thing. But I think in the situation that I was in before with Relive, like I was with another guy that had a lot of star power himself.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't necessarily about me. And it was when I stepped out and put Quiet Girl out, and people like, yo, and it's auto-tune. And I had a thing against, I'm thoroughly against auto-tune. And the homies was just like, bro, like you gotta just leave the auto-tune on it. And for me to put that out, and people like, yo, this is my favorite song. Like, and that was just me putting it out on my own. I didn't have anybody else, and it was no one to hide behind. Like I was on my own 2 feet. So I think for that song to have been received by the people who heard it the way it did, I think I've been able to do something.
So Quiet Girl was 2017.
Long time ago.
I did a deep dive on your music. I went from Quiet Girl all the way through What Are You Searching For? And I think the thing that was consistent was the feel. The thing that was consistent is, as you were singing, I can imagine where you were, who you were talking to, what you were talking about, and the situation playing out. So it's dope when I hear an artist and they're able to accomplish the thing that they're trying to accomplish.
Thank you.
So 2017 is when you kind of had the sense of like, oh, I got the feel, which is really dope. What gave you that that push to step out as an artist, though? So prior to that point, I don't mean to cut you off. Anonymous, Relived, With the Dude with Star Power, and then at some point you're like, Lucas Wolfe.
Yeah. So the situation collapsed. The Relive situation collapsed.
Yeah.
And it became a situation of me and the guys being like, what are we going to do? And then I was, I think in a little dark place for a little while. And then it was just like, I still want to do this. And so I think from that, Lucas Wolfe was born, because like, if I'm going to stand out on, because I think I was like Lucas Music or something at the time. So, and I was like, if I'm going to stand on my own 2 feet, like I have to be something else, something different, shout out to Arrow. I don't know if you know that.
Don't.
Arrow, the show?
No.
Like the Green Arrow show?
Oh, that show, yes.
Yes, something else. That's his line. That's his line right there, yes. The people that watch will know.
You just challenged my nerdism and I failed. I feel defeated, y'all.
Yeah. Right in the beginning, tagline had to be someone else, something else.
Okay.
That's it. But anyway, I knew that I had to be something new.
Okay.
And so from that, Lucas Wolfe was cultivated and born.
Okay. So you move through it, situation collapses, and then there's still, although it's a dark place, there's this drive to, I still want to do music and I have to be something else. How would you describe that something else?
I still wanted to do it. That I think that's the biggest thing. Like I still wanted to do it. I didn't feel like I was done yet. And I think that's the magical place about where I am right now, being 30, because I'm looking around at all of these people that have quit, and like people that I know,
our peers,
like very closely, that have just like quit. And it's just like, I just don't feel like I'm done yet. And frankly, I just don't feel like I've gone as hard as I possibly could. And I think that same feeling I have now is the same feeling I had. Like I haven't given this everything I got yet, so I can't quit. Because I haven't the version of me that I see myself, and not even from like status. I'm talking about the way I'm operating, or maneuvering, or putting in work, or dropping, or like releasing stuff. I haven't done that yet. And so I think. And that version of me always changes. So I'm never satisfied with the stuff that I've done. Like there was a year we were going hard. We put out, maybe last year we dropped 2 films. We had the screening and we dropped the album. That was all in the same year. And I was, okay. And I think that version of, I think it's a blessing and a curse to wake up and know what it is you want to do with your life. Because I'm so driven by that thing. And it's like, it causes a certain level of like dissatisfaction because I never think I'm doing enough, which is what I'm working on now. To try to be like, no, you're actually doing like a lot. But I think to circle back to where we were, it's just from that dissatisfaction, like, nah, like I ain't doing enough yet. I can't call it. So we gotta keep this train going. And that was how I called my brothers that I do music with, like my band that's behind me, like, yo, we're not done. Literally, I called them all individually. Dwayne, Gabe, my brother, now Tim, like, yo, we're not done.
We have more to do.
We have more to do. And I think that's how it came about.
The people, I just want to lean in real quick. You heard it here. Lucas said he hasn't hit his final form. He said this is just the beginning. He said he hasn't even pushed himself the hardest yet. So when you listen to What Are You Searching For, understand as dope as it is, he has more in the tank. I just want y'all to know that. Back to the show. You said something really interesting, right? Because I liked that PSA, but I want to get to the psychology part of it. I imagine that's exhausting too. So it's really dope to like, I always got something. I'm always dreaming. I'm always thinking the next thing. I'm never satisfied. And I imagine at the same time, it makes it hard to like really celebrate. I think you have 2 albums out. You have a lot of singles. You have 2 films. When do you celebrate it? When you say, good job?
I have a hard time with that. I have a hard time. I think my best friend / partner has been really helping me to like, cause sometimes you have to like do the thing and then have somebody literally list the things that you've done. Right? Like there have been days and like you get the grind as a business owner. Like you work the regular job, get off the job, come home, shoot content, go to the gym, cook
sometimes. I should.
Well, I go to the gym, cook yourself some nice food, you know, like maybe sit down working. And like you'll be going through all of that, and then you're just on the phone, like, and you're just like, oh, like, and you know, like they'll be like, or she's like, how was your day? And I'm like, oh, it's pretty good. Like I did some stuff. And then she's like, what did you do? And then I list everything, and she's like, that's not a little bit of stuff.
No, that's 2 days worth of things.
You did. You did all this, and so I think people reminding you, right, that you do, that you actually do, you know, that sort of reinforcement, or the homies just being like, yo, maybe you should just like relax for today. Like just come chill or just come hang out, which was hard. I still have a hard time like kind of clubbing just because it feels like a waste of my time.
I thought you were gonna say because you're 30. Because I know I hit a certain age and I was like, my knees, my ankles.
No, honestly, when I'm playing piano in church, like them knees be barking, bro. Like
it's different. It's like 30 happens and it's an expiration date.
But like I find myself still being in a place of having a hard time with that specifically, but like learning how to, and I think that's where the love for enjoying films, because I'll never feel bad about going and watch a movie. So learning how to take that time and space for yourself is something that you always got to work on. Because I think that as artists, we're blessed and cursed at the same time. Right? We're blessed to have all of these gifts. We're cursed to always chase after these gifts.
The way I phrase it is, as artists, our imagination always outpaces our current talent. And we're always catching up. And like when we catch up, our imagination has.
Exactly.
So it's like, there's times I'm a poet. There's times I look back and I'm like, yo, I'm doing the things I wanted to do, but now my brain is on this other thing. Now I want it to be theatrical, and then it's theatrical, and like now I want visuals with it. And it's always that next thing. But I do want to take this moment to say, you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
2 films, dropped the album. Was the album release party or concert this or last year too?
October.
So planned a full, and we plan concerts here. That is not easy work. And that doesn't include then also what you've done as a person, as a partner, as a friend, as a son, as a brother. So you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Just taking a minute to sit with that is really important. I'm curious, now that I've given you some encouragement, what encouragement would you give your younger self?
I personally, I think that we're always told that like you can't do it by yourself. But you can.
Okay. That's interesting.
And what I mean by that is that you can do what you're doing and be the spark that ignites other people. And then other people will join in and help you. And I think that was the thing. And that beyond that, there are people that you don't know that are dying to help you. Dying to help you. Like one of the best examples of this is like, ironically, The Inglorious. Ace has always been somebody that I've like truly, like if we're talking about songwriters, Ace, amazing.
Tough.
Amazing. Like what he's able to do. Like songwriting wise. I'm like, bro, you literally like James Fauntleroy Jr. Like, and he like, bro, thank you. And it's like, it wasn't up until the that I actually got to talk to them, like when we were doing the show in October, that they're like, bro, like call us in the studio whenever. Like, and it just so turns out that like Kyle is in a place of lack, I had an engineer that kind of raised his prices on me.
Yesterday's price is not today's
Yesterday's prices, and don't get me wrong.
Yesterday's budget is today's budget.
I wanna. Where's the close up? The close up is here. I wanna really make this clear. I believe that you should pay people what they're worth. Lucas Wolfe loves to pay people. That is my shit. Can we curse on there? That's fine. Yeah, that is my shit. However, do not triple your price on me.
It's ethical pricing.
Tripling your price, you just don't want my business.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to say that.
That engineer is sitting somewhere like, oh man.
You get what I'm saying? But I say all that to say Kyle is mixing my new work.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I just had that conversation with both of them that's like, oh, like people are here to help you.
Yeah.
And that's something I would have never known if I was younger. I was so.
And if dude didn't raise his prices. Also, shout out to the Inglorious County Jawn alums. And I do want to take this moment. They did our second show and our third show. Phenomenal. And really launched us to a level. So Ace, Kyle, Wayne. Wayne is the Inglorious and is always behind the camera for us, the GOAT. Thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. So you learned that people are willing to help. So you can do it by yourself in terms of being the spark.
Exactly.
It sounds like really the message is don't be afraid to start.
Yes.
Okay. The people! We want to thank our sponsor, Dr. James Smith Jr., the presentation skills doctor. If you're a leader, an executive, a former athlete that is looking to improve your presentation skills, make sure you head over to drjamesmithjr.com and tap in. Thank you for your support. So before we transition to talking about the music, I want to talk about your name. I learned today that your name is not Lucas Wolfe, and that sounds like a very real name. So let's talk about, you don't have to give out your government, but talk to me about the development of the name Lucas Wolfe.
Development of Lucas Wolfe, One Tree Hill.
Okay.
The show.
All right. We went back to the early aughts.
The early, yeah. So we didn't have, 6th to 8th grade, we didn't have cable.
Okay.
And so all I had was the CW. So
okay.
Smallville, Supernatural, 90210, Gospel Girl, One True Hill. Those were the things that we watched. And it was it just so happened that the main character of One True Hill, they're all kind of main characters, but Lucas, that character, I found myself going through a lot of the same things that he was going through at the time. And then I just really liked the name. Okay. You know? So I think that as I progressed and I knew that I was going to, in music, like I didn't really want to use my government name. So I was like, I'll just be Lucas. And then I've always considered the wolf to be my spirit animal. Okay. So I put a little E on it for artistic flair. And then we was Lucas Wolfe from then on. So that's how it came about. Yeah, so the through line of film is there too. You're connected with the story. Yes. And because you identify so much with the story, it affects your name. Exactly. Which is really dope. I like seeing those through lines. All right, let's jump into your music. I gotta tell you a story. The year is 2022. We are starting the County Jawn, me, Wayne, and Deja. Shout out to Deja. So we're just going around and just like really engrossed in the scene. I think it's before our first show, so it's somewhere between April and May. So around this time, 3 years ago, and we pull up to the Brooklyn Bowl. And we're drawing a little bit, so we haven't come in yet. And I hear a song playing, and I'm like, I kind of find myself like I'm listening, and now it's in my head, and I'm like, wait, who is that? And I legitimately at this point, I think this is like an artist that's already out. I think they're playing music. So we come inside, and you and the band is on stage. And I do this thing when I hear an artist that I like, particularly as a curator now, like I listen to music different. I let myself enjoy it for a minute, and then I look around to see if people are enjoying it. So I'm like, okay, I like this, all right. And then now let me look. And it was a moment where people were really locked in. So that's my introduction to Lucas Wolfe. 3 years ago, Brooklyn Bowl, we're starting the County Jawn. And you're on the same lineup as the Inglorious. I think Ardmore might have been on that lineup. Really dope lineup. So that's actually my introduction to you. So then 3 years later, we meet in person.
but really dope music. The crowd is really into it. And the song, which we'll start off talking about, is You Showed Me Love.
I had a feeling it was that song.
That is my go-to. That song lives rent-free in my head. I just be randomly singing, You Showed Me Love. I'm driving. Best song I ever wrote.
Best song I ever wrote.
Listen, you sing it better than I do, clearly. And it's so dope because it follows along with like a lot of your music. It's story driven, but also like you do this thing with juxtaposition where you compare and contrast two ideas. So it's a breakup song. This is the first song I wrote since the breakup, but you're also not talking bad about her. You're also, it's still like this really overall tone of love. Talk to us about that song.
You Showed Me Love was after a breakup, and literally I was going through writer's block. And one of my like people have, the idea of like guiding spirits or like a Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
So Shonda Rhimes has a masterclass that I took, and everybody should watch it, by the way. But I took her master class, and it's been like my guiding light principle for life. Because she talks about so many life things in that master class. And one of the things that she was like saying, like, if you can't figure out what to write, write something else.
Okay.
That's a big thing. Just leave it and write something else.
Yeah.
So I was trying to write all these other songs and couldn't flatline it in the studio. And it was like, okay, well, maybe I just need to pivot. And so it's like, okay, I can't stop thinking about this thing. Maybe I need to just write about this thing.
Okay, so you were trying to avoid the breakup.
I was just trying to make music.
Yeah.
And like, it was like, the breakup was a thing, but I didn't want that to be like, kind of like all of my songs about it. Or I guess that I just wanted to I never go in with a topic. I let the song speak to me or the music speak to me. And I go from there. Yeah. And this was one of the moments where it was like, okay, I have to be intentional about what I'm writing about.
Yeah.
And so from there, it was like, I wanted to write, but I thought everybody could, I could have dimed on her. You know what I'm saying? It would have been easy to dime on her. Like, it always is for writers, like it's easy to dime. Yeah. But it's like, that wouldn't have been interesting. What was interesting to me was to like, how can I take this song and put it in a positive note? And from there, I got the beat from one of my longtime producers, favorite producer. His name is Don Lon.
Okay.
Over 80% of my catalog is produced by him. Okay. And he sent me the beat, and from there, I was like, man, I could make something. And I'm so in love with the idea of metaphor. Yeah. And the way that metaphor comes into play in writing, and then steps off and comes back in, And it's like, your ghost visits me somewhere in the morning. And it's been months, so I guess that this house is haunted, right?
I want to jump in. I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But the first verse, this is the first song I wrote since the breakup. Baby, what'd you do to me? Still smell your scent when I wake up. How does it still have me here? And then you get to that line, your ghost visits me early in the morning. I'm a poet, right? Like that is similar to you. If you ask me how I define myself, it's writing first. My dad says I'm a snob when it comes to writing. So I'm like, no, this is why this isn't good. The imagery, but also like, and we were talking about the feel earlier, like, baby, what'd you do to me? I could pause the song right there and be like, yo, because I know that feeling. Yeah. Like, what did you do where I'm this jacked up? So I'm sorry. Then you were talking about metaphor. Talk to me about the ghost metaphor.
One of my favorite songs from Beyonce is Haunted. I think self-titled, her best body of work. That's the hill. Everybody talk about Lemonade, the hill I'm finna die on, self-titled.
I ain't finna die on any hill with the Beehive. Every album is her best album.
That's good.
Everyone, all the time, ever.
That's good. But
says the County Jawn.
Says the County Jawn. But Lucas Wolfe says beyond, because I think self-titled, there was a moment when I was so depressed. Yeah. And I feel like self-titled, The Good Kid, Mad City, the 2020 Experience, part 1. Yeah. like literally saved my life.
That's all around the same time. Right?
Exactly.
I was in college.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a good time.
And so I think that song has always been so powerful, like Haunted.
Yeah.
Like because the idea of like Leon LaHavis has a song called Wonderful, which is the same idea that like after we're done this relationship, there's still pieces of it that are that follow us. And so the idea was just like, dang, like your ghost is still here all these months later. We've been broken up.
Yeah.
We've been broken up. I've been doing my own thing, you know, or trying to do my own thing or healing or however I've tried to go about the relationship. And in moments you're still there.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to shake. It's living with me at this point. And I think that's one of the hardest things, one of the beautiful things about love and the hardest things about love. Love changes us.
Yeah.
Love stays with us. It's funny, that song hit me at the moment because I was going through a divorce. I was literally, the divorce had happened and now I'm doing the County Jawn. And I heard that lyric and I was like, damn, that's real. And the beautiful ways in which that relationship changed me. Some of the ways I've had to talk to my therapist about how that relationship changed me.
Yeah.
But again, as we were talking, the feel carried that song. Like it felt like love, it felt like heartbreak, it felt like trying to heal.
Yeah.
And it kind of carried, it carried all the way throughout it. I'm curious, what was the first line you wrote to that song, if you could remember? Did you start at the beginning? Did you start at the hook? Was it somewhere in the middle?
I'm between this is the first song I wrote since the breakup, but if I'm being honest, I'm sure it was This Be the Best Song I Ever Wrote. Okay. That probably was the first line.
You just knew going into it.
I just knew. Yeah. This be the best story ever told. I see you laugh somewhere in my soul. Yep.
Yeah. That's a dope line. Again, it's so visual. It's that depth of it. So that gets me thinking about the songwriting process. So I know I start with the line and I almost get hyper fixated on that line. And it could be anywhere in the piece that I'm writing. It could be like beginning, middle, end. It's the third line. And I play that over in my head until everything forms around it. What is your approach to songwriting?
I always get the beat first.
Okay, so it starts with the music.
It starts with the music. And I really let the song speak to me. I think there are a lot of things that I know how to do that I've cultivated.
Yeah.
I think the ability for a song to speak to me is a gift. Like that's from God. Like, and I know that that's from God because it literally depends. There are some moments where like You Show Me Love is a perfect example. You know, like, no, not hard at all to write. Probably took 15 minutes.
It just came.
It just came, you know, and heard the music, this be the best song, and then went. Yeah. And then from there, and there have been other songs that I've had to like kind of focus in on, like, and think about topic. Yeah. But they all start with the music, and then most times the hook will come first. Okay. Other times verses have come first. Yeah. But.
So it's the music, shout out to your producer, and then it is allowing that God-given gift.
The song to speak, yeah.
That idea to come, the song to speak. Maybe it's the hook, maybe it's the verse. You do this really dope thing, I think I had already talked about it, is like the juxtaposition in your music. So now I'm thinking Sweet Life, which is on What Are You Searching For? And the music sounds fun. And it's like, oh, this is a good song. Like, it's happy, it's summer, we having a good time. And I'm listening, I'm like, this don't sound like a good relationship. This don't sound like the Sweet Life. Talk to me about that song and then also the way in which you compare and contrast these two ideas together.
Sweet Life is a true story.
Okay.
Sweet Life is a true story. I have a thing for a femme fatale, okay?
So wait, you went from Quiet Girl, which is not a femme fatale.
I love me a femme fatale. Yeah. For those of you that don't know what a femme fatale is, femme fatale is like your main, like literally like a Sweet Life character, right? This is a girl that likes to have fun. I'm not necessarily talking about promiscuity. That's not what I'm talking about. But literally some like A free-spirited, can't be contained, not ready to be in a relationship, but makes you fall in love with her. That is a femme fatale. Dangerous. You know that you probably shouldn't engage, and you engage anyway. I have a thing for them.
Okay.
I have a terrible.
I'm gonna give you my card. I'm a therapist. I'm gonna give you the card to be done with this.
Thank you.
We're going
so
through it.
like literally, and I'm so like they're attracted to me, which is something interesting to consider. I'm a Christian, so I'm a spiritual person. Yeah, praise the Lord. And one of my mentors said to me that like sometimes people will be drawn to you for the thing that they don't have. And I know that like I'm this way all the time, smiling all the time, happy all the time, like joyful all the time. And I think that something about that joy attracts.
That makes me think. I feel like stirring the pot. I apologize.
Nah, you're good.
Does that mean that you are attracted to the danger because that's not a part of your life?
No, it's not. Thank God. We thank God for Jasmine. Okay. But like, I'm just not sure. I don't think I was attracted to danger. I just think these things would just find me.
Okay. Yeah.
These things or these people with a certain lack.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that lack may have looked different and that's not to say that I wasn't lacking things, because I was as well. But I think that those our lacks attracted each other. What I was lacking in that moment and what she was lacking in that moment, you know? And so with Sweet Life, I was just coming off the You Showed Me Love relationship.
Okay.
And I was in a place of I kind of, like, not for a lack of, no, I'm just going to say it. I kind of wanted to get my heart broken.
Okay.
Like, and what I mean by that is I wanted to be in a situation that I was so free in that I would be able to be devastated afterwards. Because I think a lot of times we hold ourselves back from something. And I think that I had held myself back a lot in that previous relationship. So I wanted to be open enough for the possibility of heartbreak to happen.
I'm going to say it again. It sounds like you were attracted to danger.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to be free enough. I want to go 150 miles per hour.
Yeah, like and I think in that period of life, like I wanted, but I knew what I was getting myself into. And I think this song came about because I think in dealing in that situational relationship, like she wasn't allowing for my crash out.
Yeah.
Because I think there were just so many red flags that my brain just wouldn't allow me to get there. And from there, to talk about the end of your question, I'm in love with the idea of duality, which is the idea that two things exist at the same time. Yeah. And I think that in everybody, especially as a filmmaker and writer, like two things exist at the same time. I think that this can be a damaged person, but the love was beautiful. And the love was, that was one of the most fun summers of my life. I will not like deny that for anybody. That was the most fun during the summer. But I think it was also like this overlying, like, this is not gonna work. Like,
it's a joint, you know, it's unhealthy.
You get what I'm saying?
You know it's not gonna work.
But golly. You get what I'm saying? And the idea of like, I know why I'm here. Yeah. You know, like I know what's going on, which is something, one of the films that I watched last year was Maestro.
Okay.
Maestro, Bradley Cooper. And his wife was talking, his wife in the film was just talking about the idea, like, it's not unbeknownst to me what you've been out here doing. Yeah. But I like the life. Yeah. And that's literally the idea of Sweet Life. Like, I really know what's going on, but I like this story, and I think it's okay to allow this to happen. So for me, it's just a sort of recounting of the story, you know, like, because I know you. Yeah. I've dealt with 100 of you. You know, I've seen you stink of margaritas and broken hearts. Like, I can smell you. Like, you smell like what's going to happen. And like, literally, it's a recounting. Okay. A recounting of like.
At that season of your life, I won't say now, you liked danger.
Yeah, probably.
Margaritas and heartbreak is not the same.
Like, and that's the thing about it. And that's why I love it so much, because it's like, yo, like, you stink. Like, and not like you stink like, but like, oh my God, I've smelled you before. Like, I know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're about to bring to this relationship.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's still enjoy ourselves though.
Yeah. And it's that balance.
Yeah.
I want to move, maybe not further into the project, but another song off the project, Adriana.
Adriana.
Is Adriana a real person?
Adriana is in fact a real person.
Okay. It's not a pseudonym.
She's
out here hearing her name.
And knows who she is. Yes.
Now you said it is one of the favorite songs off the project. The song is dope. Again, the feel, my heart hurt as I was listening to it. Tell us about that song.
So Adriana, a lot of people think that Adriana is about love. Adriana was the idea of losing a best friend. Very similar to one of my favorite songs from Phineas is I Lost a Friend.
Yeah.
And so I was going through that sort of period where I didn't know whether the friendship was going to survive or not.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to write about it. And interestingly enough, it's the same idea that I was talking to you about earlier, because I had this, and I was like, okay, this is the idea, but how can I generalize it and make it apply, to everybody? And I said, so I think the work that we did with Adriana in the writing of it was to really make myself or make that situation apply to everybody. But it was one of the songs that like literally spoke to me. I think I wrote it in 5 minutes on the treadmill. Like I was walking on a treadmill. And I normally don't listen to like slow music on the treadmill, but I think I was marinating, which is another idea from the Shonda Rhimes masterclass, which is like you spend a year thinking about the thing and 5 minutes doing the thing. Right? Because it was working itself in my brain for like weeks.
Yeah.
Like I had the music. I think I had the music. I got the beat on Christmas.
Okay.
It was a gift. Like somebody bought the beat. I'm like, hey,
that's
like,
dope.
Somebody bought this beat for me.
Yeah. Buy musicians beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jasmine, my partner. She was she was the first person to ever buy me a beat. Like,
That's
dope. What I'm saying? Because I do everything myself. Again, which is the spark thing. But I had the beat December, like Christmas, and then I think I was just thinking about the music like every day for like a week and a half, 2 weeks straight, and then I just wrote it on the treadmill.
Okay. Don't leave us hanging. Are y'all still friends?
No.
Ah,
we're not. So, and in
heart.
fact, our son was in fact losing light.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite parts of that is like, and could this be a sign all our son is losing light? It was in fact.
And that goes back to what we talked about in the beginning, the circle's getting smaller.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting in the real people. The last thought about your music for now, what are you searching for? Tell us the concept, and then if you can, tell us the answer.
I think we're all, like, not to be like we're all searching for something, but I think we all are searching for something. But I think this idea of like, I wanted to do the songs that were so close to how I grew up. Yeah. And like I was talking about earlier, I grew up on One Tree Hill and Gossip Girl and 90210. And there was this sort of sound, guitars and acoustics and like, light. Yeah. But the material might be heavier. Yeah. And so the idea of, like what I feel like my sound is, I think before the band is like a sort of like the music I grew up in, like very R&B. And I think what are you searching for is like where like my roots are. And I think that my sound is somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Of those two projects. And I think the idea of what are you searching for just was so many experiences from myself or other partners or circumstances with Adriana where like we're trying to find the answers. Yeah. And I think I do figure out the answer, but I think it's not in the way people will expect. I think the final song, well, the second to last song is called Ready for It. And I think the idea from that song is like whatever happens next, because I can't necessarily stay in this place being worried about what might be.
Yeah.
And so we have to just figure out what it is and keep going from there.
Yeah. So it sounds like conceptually I'm searching to find that balance between what was and what is.
Yes.
My roots and the music and where I land. And it's like you're searching through your relationships and what's next. Am I ready for it? Can I handle it? And you land on not necessarily a direct answer, but you land on I'm ready for it. Whatever's next.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Prepare. That's really dope. All right, I want to transition. This is my favorite part of the show. It's the lightning round. Now listen, only rule is first thing that comes to your mind. I don't want no filibustering. I don't want no hemming and hawing. First thing, I'm gonna ask you some hard questions. I will make fun of you.
Copy.
All right.
Okay.
Biggest inspiration?
Waves, the movie.
Okay, Waves the movie, bet. I don't know it, but it's okay. If you could share the stage with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Kevin Garrett.
Kevin Garrett, all right. If you could get any producer to produce a full project for you, who would it be and why?
I want Sir to be my engineer.
Okay.
Sir's an engineer. He engineers all of his stuff, and his shit sounds amazing.
Okay.
And I would love for him to just be in the studio mixing. I just think that sort of collaboration with him, between me, Don Lon, and him being there, would be like out of this world.
So you keep your producer, Don Lon, Sir engineering. All right, bet. What is your favorite cover to perform?
Novocaine.
Novocaine. All right.
Frank Ocean.
I'm gonna make you choose between your kids. Your favorite song of yours to perform?
Sweet Life.
Sweet Life, all right. You can only choose one of these things. You could either be a singer, you could be a filmmaker, you could be a songwriter. Which one and why?
Filmmaker.
Filmmaker.
I would be a filmmaker just because there is only 10% of people that will have longevity in singing.
Yeah.
I can make movies till I'm 80.
Okay.
I could just make movies till I'm 80. There's no like cutoff. And I mean, there's not necessarily a cutoff, but I think as far as your prime, Scorsese is like 70, and Killers of the Flower Moon just was a heavy Oscar contender, and he's like 80. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can still compete at the highest level, which is what I try to do with everything.
Yeah.
I'm
so you're playing the long game.
Yeah. So I could compete forever.
Also, I like that. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to compete. I like that energy. All right, last one. I gotta set the stage for this. It is July 12th. Mm-hmm. The people are watching. You finish your last song. The crowd goes wild. What's the one word you want them to say?
Amazing.
Amazing. The people. You heard it here from Lucas Wolfe. Be there July 12th. It's Lucas Wolfe. It's Angel Concepcion. It's Luis Marrero. And if you talk nice to me, I might perform as well. I promise you want to be there. You don't want to miss it. I'm excited. Wayne's excited. Lucas is excited. We don't know where Deja is, but she's excited. Make sure y'all are there.
See y'all soon.